Hello and welcome to the Grow Landscapers 10-minute business tips series, a show that gives you bite-sized nuggets of wisdom in just 10 minutes. I'm Nick Ruddell and today's guest is the legendary Ken White, formerly of Frost Landscapes. How are you doing, Ken?
Very good, Nick. Thank you very much for having me. This is, I think, the second podcast I've done with you, so pleasure to be back.
It is, it is. It's a pleasure to have you on again. Lots of wisdom. Looking forward to getting straight into it. So in the interest of time, I'm going to put a 10-minute timer on. So here we go. What is the first tip of your three tips?
Okay, well, I think the first tip for me is we get into landscaping, most people, or design, or any of the elements around it because of what we love. But I think to have a successful business, we need to fall in love with being a businessman, a business person. We really do need to sort of understand when we need our landscaping and horticultural type skills versus when do we need business skills. I um I think it's very important that you understand all the things that make up a business. Know your numbers, know what does a good day look like, know how to sell, know how to market, and really when do you need horticulture. I remember having a meeting years ago with Simon Moorish from Ground Control, and he had about 4,000 sites, I think, at that time that he had to look after. And he said, look, none of this has got anything to do with horticulture whatsoever. I need the horticulture at the point where the person does the maintenance. But before that, 4,000 sites is about logistics, is about understanding. So I think it's important that you fall in love with the business. The landscape or the design is the end product, but it's important that you understand all the elements that make up a business, how to run it. And if that's not your thing, then hire somebody into your business that gets excited by having a business and running a business. I think that's really going to help you go forward. You have to separate your product, if you like, to some extent from the day-to-day running and putting those right people in. So fall in love with being a business person, and continually learn, understand what it's all about. The number of people I meet that don't know the numbers, don't understand their accounts, and don't understand some of the basics. So that would be tip one: fall in love with being a business person, and all that
Okay.
it stands for.
Amazing. And I think on that point, just very briefly, think how many hours people spend or invest into becoming brilliant landscapers, brilliant garden designers. How much time do they spend learning how to be a brilliant business
Yeah,
person? So I think that's a really, 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 really important point because without profits and knowing your numbers, you don't have a business, or you might not have a business very
or you
long.
might not. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So number two.
Okay, I'm going to do process or brand. Let's do build a brand. I was going to do process, but we'll build a brand. I think it's one of the, I'm a very avid reader and I stand by the thing people buy why you do it, not what you do. And I think the most successful businesses out there have got tremendous brands. It's all about building a brand, building brand advocates, and understanding through the brand, people get what they like. I think there can be some great mission and value statements, and I think there can be some useless ones. Ferraris, I love Ferraris. We are the competition. I think that's a brilliant brand statement. We are the competition. Airbnb, belong everywhere.
Wow.
And I think what the brand and what this mission statement does, it not only sets out a goal for yourself and your staff to align behind, but also it's a promise to your customers. We all buy certain brands, and we buy them because of what they stand for, why they do it. And I think that's really important. I think it's about building a brand. Now, that brand could be you as a designer, or it could be your company or whatever. There are some fantastic brands out there. We'll keep the name dropping. Mark Gregory is a brand. Landform isn't a brand. Mark Gregory is the brand, for example. And I think it's about building a brand. You know what you get with a brand. I'll shop at certain shops in places because I understand what I'm getting from them. I understand how they will deal with my problems if I have a problem, because problems, invariably do occur. So put the time, build brand ambassadors, understand how to do your marketing, and the brand allows you to to run a business with purpose. Your
Mm.
brand can identify so many things, and I think it can help you attract people into the business. It can set you apart. And word of mouth is what we all ultimately want, but it doesn't stop the top brands in the world still advertising, does it? We all know what they are, but they still advertise. So it's not that you don't need to. So I think there's a real importance of having brand awareness and let people understand what you or your company stands for.
That's amazing. So what it represents, the values, advocates, brand advocates, having a
Yeah.
purpose. What is your promise to your customers? And you've got to keep reinforcing that with advertising and
Yeah.
good branding. Brilliant. Love it. Well, I haven't had that one so far, so that's brilliant in this series. So number three then, Ken, what's your third one?
Well, I don't think you'll have had this one either. And it's be lazy,
Definitely haven't had that.
right? No,
Good.
so I believe in being a lazy MD, be a
Yeah.
lazy CEO. What do I mean by that? I mean, I need to put my time and effort into the elements of the business that I can have the greatest impact. I need to ensure that I surround myself with smart and passionate people and individuals and create an environment for them to grow and for them to nurture in. I don't need to meddle in all sorts of things. Let's take it brand. I'm not a brand expert. So if I've got a brand person in the business, be lazy, let them get on with it. And don't spend your time trying to improve people's weaknesses. Let them concentrate on the strengths of that individual. So I always stand to be a lazy MD. So I'm going to only put my time in where I can have the greatest impact. I'm not going to meddle in what everybody else does. I will hire smart people or hire people that are smarter than me, and I'll create an environment that they can flourish. So I think sometimes as business owners or MDs, we run around with our superhero cape on and we're solving all the problems and we're picking up all the monkeys, and we're not giving people that autonomy to develop and to grow and let them do what they do well. You do what you do well. And in my case, I believe what I do well is putting a team together of individuals that have the skills and abilities to run the business with me. Not necessarily for me, but with me. So be lazy. That would be my third one.
That's brilliant. And yeah, it's like being the conductor of the orchestra. There's no point in you jumping in there if you think, oh, the strings need your help. Who's then, directing, the orchestra. So great. I love a bit of superhero or the sort of reference to superheroes and superheroitis. The
Yeah,
Monkey's on Your Back, a good book from the Manager
yeah,
Meets the Monkey, Ken Blanchard, if anyone wants to listen or read that one. A brilliant book. So excellent. There's your top three, and they are brilliant. I love that. The MD should really be the least busy person in the business. Not always the case, though. So,
yeah,
as you know, I've got a couple of final questions before you can get on your merry way. Um, we know that there's an issue trying to attract the right people into the industry. What would you think needs to be done to attract more people into this wonderful landscape industry?
yeah. How long have we been asking this question? It's an interesting one. Um, I think interestingly, our industry is not unique in that, but it's an industry full of entrepreneurs, and I think we need to focus a little bit more on the entrepreneurial side of what we do and the businesses rather than necessarily the end product. Um, Gardening has always been something that people have done. For example, your parents made you do it. That's not going to attract people.
Mm,
But entrepreneurial businesses, it's full of young entrepreneurs, and I think we also need to focus on the other roles that are inside landscaping as your business or design or any element inside our industry. But there's lots of jobs in there, isn't there? You can be a quantity surveyor, you can be HR, you can be an accountant, you can be health and safety, and I think sometimes we need to focus on really quite how wide and diverse our industry is, and rather than looking at, of course, we need people to build the business, to build the product or to do the design. But I think if we're going to attract more people, you have to realize how big it is. I remember when I went to college and studied at Edinburgh, I suddenly realized what a vast subject horticulture was. It
mm,
wasn't what, and it completely changed my career direction once I realized how vast it was. So I think concentrate on how diverse the industry is and what other roles there are just there. And it's not taking away, just is a terrible word, but it's not just paving or horticulture. It's a huge area, and there's some massive businesses out there that have got every career in it, as I say, lawyers, accountants. So I think let's concentrate on how diverse the industry is and the diversity of roles within inside the industry.
Brilliant. I love that. Yeah, spreading the word. But there's HR, there's sales, there's marketing, there's quantity surveyors, there's design. There's so many different, skill sets that can
Yeah.
be applied within a landscape business. Excellent. Brilliant. Thank you for that. That's a different perspective on it, but a brilliant one. Right, last question before we can go. What do you do personally? Oh, there's the timer. What do you do personally, Ken, for you to keep growing and learning as a business person?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm an avid reader. I believe in self-learning all the time, but I've had a mentor throughout my whole business career. And I think get yourself a mentor, continually learn and read the people like yourself, with the action coach and all the bits and pieces. Find people that will tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. So just read, learn, network, use your associations, do all of those things. Every day is a school day. I'm conscious we're out of time, Nick, but every day is a school day. So, yeah, get yourself a mentor, surround yourself with like-minded people, and learn from them.
Yeah, and you won't go far wrong. So what a brilliant way to finish up. Ken, really, really grateful for giving your time and your brilliant wisdom and insights, to us today. This will be out there forever, and people will be able to benefit from your knowledge for years and years to come. So, I'd like to thank you for your time.
You're
And
welcome. Pleasure, Nick. Thank you for having me.
good, it's lovely to have you back. Enjoy the rest of your week. Catch you soon.
Thank you.
Cheers, Ken.
Cheers.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.